Good Friday the 13th morning. I'm Matt Carothers, and welcome to another installment of everyone's favorite 30-minute horse racing program. Welcome to Blinkers Off, live from Keeneland. Beautiful, beautiful day in Lexington, Kentucky. Sunny skies, temperatures going to be around 70 degrees. It's going to be hot this weekend. 80 for Bluegrass Day and a gorgeous day here on Sunday as well. Action-packed show. We got 3 guests and we got 3 great races to discuss. Field of 13 in the Toyota Bluegrass. Field of 11 in the Arkanas Derby, and our spotlight race, $1 million race, the Charlestown Classic. How about a field of 13 as well? 3 great guests, 3 great races. And we begin, our first guest sitting right to my left, one of the elite trainers, not only in Southern California, that doesn't do you justice, one of the elite trainers in the United States, John Sadler.
Thanks, Matt. How are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you. John and I, we go back a little bit. About 8-10 years ago, when my parents were still in Encinitas, you lived next door to them. At the time, you did not have TVG, so you used to come over and watch a little bit. My mom would like make you cookies and give you something to drink and stuff, right?
And absolutely. And what people may not know is your dad's a very good handicapper.
he is. He's a pretty good player. He's made some money. He's watching right now. And let's get right to it, because, again, we have a lot to cover in the next 30 minutes. You're out here because of the Bluegrass. You don't ship too much out of Southern California.
No, I'm pretty much a regional trainer, but we like to come out. We're to making a stab at the Derby. He's got to win it to go on to Kentucky, so we got to be in it to win it.
Okay, and Holy Candy's your horse. And when the morning line came out, I think the draw was 2 days ago, Wednesday, at about this time. And when I saw a 30-1 morning line with this horse, that it's coming off the maiden score that we're showing right now, back on the 23rd of March. Kind of, I don't know, disappointed, John, but, second is favorite, second and favorite. And then this was a pretty devastating win, and we're going to follow past the finish line because he gallops out and he's up about $1 million.
Yeah, he really wants to run a big distance. Well, we missed the gallop out. Okay. But he wants to run a big distance. We think he'll love a mile and 1/8.
We have the gallop out. We have the gallop out.
Okay.
We're going to show it to you.
Okay, fantastic.
We're going to show it here in a second. So, okay, here it is. Here it is. And, yeah, so, I mean, you obviously thought he was probably going to win this race. He was 50 cents on the dollar.
Yeah.
But look at this here.
Yeah, he wants to run along this great big horse. That's why he didn't get to the races early. He's almost 17 hands. Lovely horse, and he's been very green. One time he made the lead too early, and he pulled himself up when he was in front. One day he closed when it was a day that you couldn't close at Santa Anita. So There's a lot of little themes going through his form that we think he's a pretty nice horse.
And the Candy rides, they move up on synthetic, do they not? He's been running well on dirt, but on synthetic, he should move up a bit.
Yeah, I think he'll run well. He's trained a lot at Hollywood Park this summer, ran well at Hollywood Park, and the Candy rides will run on any surface.
And I know he's a horse that can be tactical. There is silly speed in this race tomorrow. And I've been out here actually just as a casual horse player the last couple of days. Closers have been doing well.
I think closers are doing well, and I think especially well in the routes.
And you got a guy his timing is as good as anybody in racing, in Rosario, with a horse that can sit in a race laden with pace. He's going to be further back in this race, right, than he's been in those races in Southern California?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He's the thing with this horse is timing his run. He's got a short quarter mile, 2.5 furlong run, so he'll be sitting back and waiting for the speed to come back a little bit.
Okay, so again, you seem to be, for a horse that's installed, I mean, most horses that are 30-1 morning line, the trainer's kind of like, well, I hope we run okay. You're pretty confident in a horse that's a huge price.
Yeah, well,
fairly confident.
And I'm confident in the sense that he's a good horse. He's going to win stakes. We're being very aggressive here this weekend. I know it's a nice horse. So if it doesn't go perfect for him Saturday, you'll be watching him later on in the year.
Hanson, clearly the horse to beat in the race.
Clearly the horse to beat. He has the numbers. He's a fast horse and a good horse.
It could be more difficult for him to rate maybe in this race with speed kind of surrounding him than it was in that's what you're hoping.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping.
Okay. All right. So John Sadler with Holy Candy, Doulahan, another horse who has a big shot because the setup could be right for Doulahan, who is a grade winner over this racetrack, winning the Breeders' Futurity. You also have a horse running today, Friday, in the Makers 46 mile. And I think a huge horse, a very key horse in this race, because you have Get Stormy is going to be your favorite, who loves this turf course, whom has been a beast here, winning this race wire to wire last year. You're the horse that can, but from a gambling standpoint, I'm looking at this race, I'm hoping that you put at least pressure
Yeah, I mean, we're the
on your favorite because sprinter stretching out, right? And press day to put pressure on Get Stormy. Hopefully.
Absolutely. Yeah, press day can go whichever way he wants. He could lay off Get Stormy. He could go to the front. Press day comes out of 2 hill races. He was a multiple Group 1 winner in Australia. They sent him up here to see if he could do a little bit more damage before he goes back to Australia to stand at stud. But he's a very good horse. And we ran him twice at Santa Anita just to kind of get him back off the pace and prep him for a mile.
And we're showing the Joe Hernandez handicap. Is it fair to say the horse who won this race, Mr. Gruff, has been one of the great down-the-hill horses? I mean, this horse has been a freak down the hill, and you're only beaten by Mr. Gruff by a length and 3/4 in this race.
Yeah, he was coming on at the end. Mr. Gruff would probably be one of the favorites for the Breeders' Cup Sprint at Santa Anita this fall down the hill.
Oh, yeah.
The turf, because he's really good on that course. So we thought my horse ran a nice race, and, we'll see how he shapes up in here.
Okay, I could talk to you for 30 minutes. You're having a hell of a meeting at Santa Anita. 37 wins right now, and you're honing in on the single-season record for wins at the meeting, right? You're getting close to Baffert.
Getting a little close to Baffert. I've cut the margin in half. He's been 10 in front all meet, and now I'm 5 behind.
Okay, very nice. You have so many good horses. Cozy Rosie, Zazu, Switch. What are they up to?
Cozy Rosie got sold last winter. She's gone to Japan to be a broodmare. Switch will probably come out at the Humanitas staff on Derby Day at Churchill, 7 furlongs. And Zazu's getting ready for the Milady, Hollywood Park, late May.
Very nice. Are you going to be able to enjoy yourself here?
Yeah. It's always,
how, you're in for such a big race, biggest race of the meeting here, but you've been in enough of these that you can enjoy it too, can't you?
Absolutely. It's a great time to be at Kentucky. They're all happy. The basketball, Calipari this and Kentucky Blues. So it's a good time to be here because the state's in good spirits. And the weather's beautiful. And the people are great here. So this is fun racing. So it's always a pleasure to come.
It is beautiful. And I'm guessing less pressure, maybe? Or does that,
it's good pressure.
Do you like coming in as the chalk, or you kind of like coming in as a little bit of an outsider?
I'd rather be the chalk.
You'd rather be the favorite?
I'd rather be the favorite. But I brought good horses, and I think we'll run well. So I'm feeling good about everything.
Okay. John Sadler could be hopefully for you, it'll be a huge week. A couple price horses. Press Day, race number 9, the Grade 1 Maker's Mark at 20-1 morning line, and then Holy Candy, 30-1 morning line, race number 11, Saturday here at Keeneland, the Toyota Bluegrass. John, thanks so much.
My pleasure,
coming
Matt.
to track a little early and come on the program. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
One of the best in the business, John Sadler. He's also one of the best in the biz, Ray Paulick. It's coming up next. Live at Keeneland, this is Blinkers Off. Welcome back to a picture-perfect Friday late morning at Keeneland. This is Blinkers Off. Matt Carothers on location, just adjacent to the winner's circle here at Keeneland. I want to thank John Sadler once again for coming on. And before we get to our next guests, play of the daytime for me. And I'm going to go Saturday Keeneland. It's part of the late pick 412, actually a 13-race program, so it's the race before, the Commonwealth. Grade 2 event, 7 furlongs. And I don't know if I'll get 8-1. It probably won't. I like Bergerac in this race. Javier Castellano, Chad Brown claims the horse for 80. Aggressive move, putting the horse in a Grade 2. Ran a very good second at Gulfstream, mile and a 16th on the turf on the 11th of February. Route speed, cuts back to 7 furlongs. Running against some real good horses, some quick horses down in South Florida. Horses like Little Mike. You see italicized lettering throughout the running lines. I think in a race in which some of the favorites are vulnerable, I'll go with Bergerac as my Saturday play of the day. 8-1 morning line, number 7 in race number 9, the Grade 2 Commonwealth. Bzzz. Boy, I enjoy doing that. It's time for the buzz in the biz, and it's my man, Ray Paulick. There he is, who decided he's a honeybee. And Paulick Report. Again, I enjoy the Paulick Report so much, but for people, again, that don't, why do I want to go there? If I'm a fan of racing, why should I go there?
We cover every part of the business. We cover the racing end of it, the business end of it, the people end of it, the bloodstock. It's kind of one-stop shopping for people who want to stay connected and up to date on the thoroughbred industry.
Okay, I guess the buzz right now, it's it's buzz type news, but it's not a big surprise in regard to Pat Valenzuela. Right?
Yeah, stop me if you've heard this one before. Pat Valenzuela, 49 years old, is trying to make another comeback.
No.
Yeah. I mean, Jamie Moyer, if he can pitch Major League Baseball at 49, Pat can ride, right?
Yeah, right.
So, Pat Valenzuela, he started out in the late 70s. He rode great horses back then. Codex won the San Diego Derby.
Codex.
Trek, Robbery. He's had a career that's just ups and downs with personal problems. He disappeared last November.
Gallbladder surgery?
Well,
no one really knew exactly what was going on.
The stewards had a hearing with him back in December after he came back, and they call the circumstances murky. And that kind of defines Pat's career. The question is, who's going to ride him when he comes back? Every time he disappears, misses his mounts.
We always say that he comes back and he gets mounts, right?
Yeah, but I think every time it happens, he loses a little bit of business. And it's going to be tougher this time than it was the time before and than it was the time before.
Okay, so he hasn't ridden in 4 months. He's going to come back. Betfair Hollywood Park. April 26th is when he's going to return.
Tom Knust is handling his book again, and he does a good job. But again, people are just going to wonder, are you going to show up every day?
Bro. Yeah. Back. Betfair Hollywood Park. April 26th. I don't think a huge surprise. Picks recaps before we do some handicapping for this weekend. TVG Illinois Derby we will begin with. And Morgan's Gorilla, okay, second. They were kind of staggering home in this race. I think this might have been the highlight for me. Yeah. Alpha, bad trip.
Yeah.
Ended up second for you.
Next time, maybe.
Okay. Nice pick there. I didn't know. I didn't realize Olive another went up to 4-1. Nice job. I didn't realize you got 4-1 there.
Decent price, and I love the workouts. I love the way O'Neill worked him a mile, worked him 7 furlongs.
Crib note diseased. And my ROI. Speaking of diseased, what are we down? 70. What are we down? 66.80. Okay.
You just one away.
We have some great betting races. Well, this weekend I really am.
Yeah.
This weekend I am, and our very own Simon Bray and the Sundance Kid Tom Cassidy, they will be at Charlestown for the Charlestown Classic 9 furlongs, Grade 2 $1 million event, and this race, they go around like a million times, I think, in this race. This was a tough one. Tackleberry, second to Mucho Macho Man in his last start, installs your 3-1 morning line favorite. Yeah,
I love Tackleberry. He's a horse that I liked a lot last year. He had a couple bad races at the end of his season, but I'm going to try to beat him with Reading Colliery.
The 9, I believe.
Yeah,
there he is, 10-1.
The horse, he ran this race 2 years ago. He ran a good third in the 2010 Charlestown Classic, and he's coming off a so-so race. But hey, he's a 6-year-old horse. They don't run him the same every week, and I like the fact that he had a really strong workout since that last race.
Okay, we see this race a little differently because I'm kind of against horses like Reading Colliery because there's horses like Tackleberry, there's Trace Barachos, there's Skip Shots, there's speed, more speed. Talked to John Sadler about how Rosario is one of the best riders in terms of his timing in the country, and Le Peru is one of them as well. And he's aboard Mr. Mardi Gras, who has the running style I'm looking for. Jockey who can sit off that hot pace, move at the right time, and this is a horse that, when he ran against Nate's Mineshaft, that was the highest buyer of the year, right? Any surface, and he did 113. Nate's Mineshaft ran in the New Orleans handicap for Austin Smith. So I like the company lines, the running style, and the price at 12-1 morning line.
We're both trying to beat the favorite there, so that's good.
Okay, let's go to the Arkanas Derby. That'd be next here, race number 11. Weather's supposed to be really nice, I think, across the country this weekend. It's a little bit warm. 9 furlongs, obviously, this event. Grade 1, $1 million event. 6 of the 11 in this race, Ray Paulick, exit the Rebel. Personally, I wasn't a fan of the Rebel, so I don't like the horses coming out of the Rebel.
Yeah, I didn't think that was a big finish to that race.
No.
You got to be crazy to try to go against Bob Baffert at Oaklawn Park. He'd be batting 1,000 if he didn't run 2 horses the other day in the same race. So, but I'm going to go against him. I call me crazy, but I think Stad is coming up to a big race.
Oh,
huh? Are we on the same place?
Yeah, there we go. Let's blow it up, Ray.
You can't really tell looking at the workouts for Todd Pletcher how the horses are doing. I mean, they all work about the same in terms of time. But
Producer Donnell wants us to do that again because people couldn't see it.
I liked his
We were
race.
showing this backtrack here.
Yeah, I liked it. And this is a horse everybody was talking about last summer before they were all talking about Union Rags, right?
There we go. So. He blows right by that Scatterjoy horse who was third, it got a pretty easy lead at Gulfstream Park. Even money for Eddie Plesa, and Stat went right by him. Maybe this is the horse for Pletcher as well. Bodemeister's the horse to beat in this race. He's clearly the horse to beat in this race. And then I know Henry Dominguez, who's a pretty good trainer, likes Isn't He Clever? He said, if I don't win the Sunland Derby, I'm going to go to the Arkansas Derby. He's a man of his word. He was part of that ridiculous pace in the Sunland Park Derby. He was off it a little bit, but still he was fairly close to it. For him to run second, beaten 3 parts of a length by Daddy Knows Best, and the aforementioned Julian Leper, who came from basically last, that was a huge performance. So I think he used those 3, 2, 6, and Bodemeister, the 11. Best price of the 3, our selection, Stat, the 2, in the Grade 1 Arkansas Derby. They're all big. This is a giant one, though. Toyota Bluegrass, I think I heard on the air it's the biggest field they've had since '74 or something like that. Field of 13 going 9 furlongs. And not only is it a deep field, isn't it one of the, I think it's the best running we've had since they've gone synthetic.
Yeah, I'd say so too. It's got an interesting mix of horses. The horse that I ended up going with is a horse that I've been waiting for all winter to kind of fire, and it's Dullahan, who's had just the one race. Yeah. He had a setback early in the winter in his training. It cost him a few weeks. I think it was a lung infection or something like that. But Jerry Crawford, who owns him, said it was almost a blessing in disguise because it really kind of put him on the timetable they really wanted. So he ran a good second to
John Sadler didn't sell you on Holy Candy?
We talked a little bit about the horse, but I've got to. There's a lot of good horses in here.
Okay.
I do like the Candy Rides, though, like you said.
Yes, on the synthetic, right?
But this horse, speaking of synthetics, won last fall in Dixiana Breeders' Futurity on this track. He ran well in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, and I just think he is coming up to this race. Look at that last workout for Dale Romans, 57.
All right, I think we have a backtrack. They're educational, make me feel warm and tingly inside. And here is the Breeders' Futurity, and this was career start number 5, 17-1. And, he got the pace in this race, and he might get the same kind of setup in the Toyota Bluegrass. I end up with a Holy Candy. I already talked about that with John Sadler. I don't think the horse anywhere near 30-1. I know John likes this horse. That's why he's here. I did like the gallop out. I like the synthetic pedigree. I like his running style. It's a wide open race. I need a price. Heavy Breathing would be the other horse. If he can rate a little bit from the inside, his performance in the spiral, the Vinery Spiral, on the lead, 46-4 and pressured, able to run third, went the day well, benefited from that, rallied from 5th to score. I thought he ran a big race in career start number 3, so I would use Heavy Breathing, the 1 horse, at 12-1 morning line.
It's going to be a fun race, like you said. It's a very deep field, good horses.
Okay, I'm going to ignore you for a little bit. Is that okay?
That's fine.
I'm going to bring in our next guest, Amy Kearns. I'm going to get this right. Digital Media Engagement Management, Stone Street Thoroughbred Holdings.
Yes.
That's your title. And you have a Twitter contest going on today.
Yes, going on today here at Keeneland, and people can follow us at Stone Street Farm on Twitter. And I brought one. We just had this idea a day ago.
You brought gifts. Okay.
We've come up with this in one day. We're really excited about maybe sort of inviting some people out to see Rachel Alexandra and the baby.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So we thought
How old's the baby now? I'm sorry.
He'll be 3 months old on the 22nd.
Oh, okay.
And
great.
He is fabulous.
Okay.
And we're so excited about him and very proud. And we're sort of looking for ways to engage the fans with digital media. And we decided to come out to Keeneland today. And we have 3 sets of golden tickets. And people will be able to follow us on Twitter and find me at different times here today. Okay. And there's one of our golden tickets.
When they'll be able to find you?
I'm going to tweet where I am, and they'll have to do something when they find me.
Are you going to be incognito, or are you going to be dressed like you are now? You're kind of giving it away
I brought
now.
a change of clothes just in case.
Okay.
And then they will get one of the golden tickets, and we will invite them and a guest tomorrow morning to Stone Street, and we're going to have a little brunch out by the paddock with Rachel Alexandra and her colt, and people will be able to spend between 9 and 11 playing with the baby and having some bagels and juice.
Very, very nice. And, okay, so you're giving out 3 very special golden tickets for 2 during the race card. Can you tell us when you'll be doing this? Is that a secret?
I'm going to tweet between the first and the second race, and I'm going to tweet after the 5th and before the last to sort of spread it out so that people are getting off work. There were some people who were tweeting last night that they're going to get off work a little early and try to make it out before the last to find us.
So Ray here, he's kind of a tweetaholic. I don't tweet. So to me,
we follow Ray.
To me, this is, well, everyone follows Ray, except for me. I'm the only person who doesn't follow Ray.
Got to get you on Twitter.
Yeah. So, do people physically have to find you here?
Yes, they have to physically
have people,
find
like,
me
sprinting.
here.
To get you, it could be a foot race. Have you thought about this? If it's a tie,
We
what you
didn't
do
really
kind of
think
thing?
all that through very well.
Okay. All right.
This is very impromptu, spur of the moment.
And I guess you got this idea from our very own Christina
Yes,
Oliveras.
exactly. We were watching last weekend when they were giving out the passes at Keeneland, and we thought, well, that may be a good idea. And then someone threw it out, like literally, day before yesterday, and everyone at the farm, we started getting so excited and into it, and figuring out things we could do. And we actually went to the craft store, and everybody in the office got together, and we made these little tickets for people.
So you put this together all kind of in the last minute kind of
Very
thing.
last minute. We were up late last night making ribbons and bows.
Okay, good. Are you going to have time to play the races at all today?
Well, the other thing I thought when we had the idea, I thought, well, it'd be fun for me to go to Keeneland for a day. So
sure.
I'm into Keeneland, so I'm excited.
Okay, so and Rachel's doing great.
Rachel is doing very, very well, and she is actually in foal to Bernardini.
Right.
So we're very excited about that. We actually tweeted the sonogram picture. And the baby is just a fun little boy. He's just a ham, and we hope to have a name because we had the naming contest for the baby.
Yes.
We had 6,521 suggestions.
Wow.
So
and they told them here that over 6,000?
6,521.
That is.
And so it's a stack like this that Barbara and her family are still going through. We hope to have a name by summer, but that was really fun too.
You're a creative guy. You could have helped out with this process.
I submitted a name.
To a certain. I
can't remember, though.
I got to start following you, I think, on Twitter. Okay, so first race today is at 1 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
So between the first
and second.
And the second.
Yeah, and then after the fifth and before the last.
Okay.
And they'll come out in the morning and have breakfast with us.
And what's the time tomorrow?
Between 9 and 11, each ticket holder and a guest. And we're going to sort of set up a little picnic table outside the paddock, and they can take all the pictures they want, and the baby loves to be petted. So.
All right. Amy Kearns, thank you so much for
thank you
for coming on.
Yeah, great to meet you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, Amy Kearns, and that will be going on all day today here at Keeneland, and here he is. And again, Stone Street on site. 3 very special golden tickets for 2 during the race car to visit Rachel Alexander and her colt tomorrow morning. And it will be announced on Stone Twitter at Stone Street Farm. Well done. Okay. Any final thoughts? Was there a race that we kind of went through too quickly? We have a couple minutes here.
I mean, this bluegrass. Here. Yeah, I mean, the bluegrass. Let's go back and look at this.
Okay.
What kind of speed scenario do you see in the race?
It's going to be crazy.
Right.
Well, can Hansen relax?
Right.
In this race, like he did in the Gotham, with speed kind of surrounding him. What do you think? It's a good question, though, isn't it? I mean,
it's a bigger field. It's a different surface. I don't think he's going to relax as well. The big difference for him in the Gotham versus the race down in Florida was the second quarter of a mile. He just went way too fast down in Florida. If he can do that again, we'll see. I'm just not sold on Hansen being a Derby horse. He hadn't been on my top. Hadn't been on the top of my list all winter. If he wins this race, he's obviously going to move up.
We'll tell our viewers right now, you can actually you can wager on the Toyota Bluegrass now. Advanced wagering on this race number 11 tomorrow at Keeneland. We didn't mention how great in this race. He did beat Doulahan.
He did.
And he has won 4 in a row. And it is Grand Motion.
Right.
And he's a lightly raced horse. We didn't really give him really any respect earlier.
Well, I respect him. I think he had the best of it in the race against Doulahan last time out. He kind of galloped along in the lead, and Doulahan came to him, and he did spurt away again at the finish. So, he's not to be undersold. It's like I said earlier, it's a tough field. You got to go for a price here.
Who's your Derby? I mean, I know things are going to change.
Yeah.
Well, if Bodemeister wins, he's the favorite to win. I think he's going to be tough to beat. Is Union Rag somehow still going to be your Derby favorite?
He's been my Derby favorite. I thought he got a lot out of the last race. Big question mark for me is whether or not he can get that 1.25 miles. He's got a great female family. The Dixie Union on the top, I'm just not sure of. I'm not sold that he.
So he's still number 1 for you.
He is. Yeah.
And as of right now, Union Rag's number 1 for you. Who's that dark? Do you have a dark horse? Do you have that horse? Is he there yet, or maybe Stat?
Well, we'll have to see what he does. I'm looking
right.
at form. I think creative cause. I think the Sadler and Ray Derby was a good race last week, and any of the top, the top two that came out of there obviously are quality horses. Creative
And
cause.
I know Mike Harrington. The man knows what he's doing. But in the public persona, in terms of you get the people who go to the track twice a year, go to TVG.com maybe a couple of times a year to wager. They're going to forget about Mike Harrington with all the other big name trainers in the race. Right?
That could be a heck of a price on Derby Day, creative cause, because he didn't win his last race.
Yeah.
Nobody knows who he is, and he's as steady as they come.
All right, we have 30 seconds, so I want to promote PaulickReport.com. We've been big for this, haven't we? This show, it's been tremendous for you, hasn't it?
You can follow Ray Paulick on Twitter. Once Matt is up and running on Twitter, we're going to start following you on Twitter too.
I got to start doing that.
You've got some good Twitter folks on TVG. Christina, Simon.
I know.
Sorry.
I know. I will be traveling to one of your favorite places, Altoona, Iowa, next week. Opening day, Prairie Meadows.
Say hi to Maggie Moss for me when you're there.
I'm going to see her.
Good.
I'm going to see Maggie Moss. So Rich Perloff will be hosting this program next week. Next week, April 20th, 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific.